What's up guys, and welcome back to Gabe Miller Music. Today I'm reviewing the Alesis Nitro Mesh Drum Kit, and I'm going to be going over the construction of it, what you get in the box, the feel of the kit, the module, and then go through some demos of sound and whatnot. So to start off with construction, this thing is pretty sturdy. When you're getting into cheap electronic drum kits, typically you're going to get something that's relatively flimsy. And as far as drum kits go, you know, this thing tends to wobble a little bit, but it's not too bad. Overall, relatively sturdy construction. The pads themselves are all pretty well built. It is a bit of a pain to construct, but it only took me a couple hours. On the subject of what's in the box, some sites seem to be a little bit cagey about what you actually get. So to distill that, you do get a kick pedal in addition to the kick pad, and a pair of sticks, which is nice to have. So as a baseline, you've got everything you need to get started if either you're new to drums or like me, you bought this because you hadn't had a kit for a while and wanted to get back into drums. It's got everything you need in it to get started, and it feels sturdy enough to be able to wail on it a bit. With all that out of the way, let's talk about the main important aspects of this kit, which are its feel and the module. So first of all, in terms of feel, these are mesh heads. So they've got a nice give to them, a nice bounce to them. These definitely don't feel exactly like real drums, but they've got that surface tension to them and feel a lot better than rubber pads to play. And that goes for the snare as well as all three toms. The cymbals are all right. You get used to the rubber cymbals pretty quickly. It definitely doesn't have the same response that a proper cymbal would, but you get used to it and it's not bad. And you can adjust kind of how much this will swing, and you know, I typically have my hi-hat pretty tight. That works out fine. The feel of the kit, it's pretty solid, especially for the price. Normally in the cheap electronic drum kit range, you're getting all rubber pads and they're all janky rubber pads. This is kind of all around solid, and especially for the price, the feel of this kit is better than anything else you're gonna get in this range. Going kind of hand in hand with the physical feel of hitting the drum is the sensitivity of each piece of the kit. And in this case, this is where you start to see the kit's cheapness come into focus just a little bit. It's not as sensitive as I would like. So if you're playing, you know, ghost notes, especially on something like the snare, it's not going to pick up everything. You have to really be deliberate about, if you want a nice soft note, you have to hit it real softly, and then sometimes it won't trigger. And so when playing on this kit, I've actually adjusted my playing style a little bit to say maybe to have more ghost notes on the hi-hat, because that seems to handle that a bit better. You don't get that nice granularity between super hard hit and super soft hit. There's just a few notches of hardness that this thing seems to sense. It's not completely 0 to 128. The sensitivity of this kit does leave a bit to be desired, and you might find yourself, like me, adjusting your playing style a little bit to make that work. Moving on to the module, and this is both a strong part and by far the weakest part of the kit. So for the weakest part, the internal sounds on this thing suck, and you'll hear that in the audio demo in a little bit. But the good of this module is that it talks pretty well to a computer. And that's what I went into this with the plan of doing anyway. I knew the sounds weren't going to be usable for anything proper, and so I have this triggering software on my computer in my DAW. Any DAW and drum plugin combination will work with this. In this case, I'm using Reaper and Audio Assault's Druminator because it's inexpensive and sounds pretty darn good. So to make that work, I'm just plugging this directly into my computer via USB, and that works fine. I'm on a Windows computer, and so to get around the latency problem, I've had to run ASIO drivers and bring down the buffer size, and now I can play no latency, no problems. And that's what really allows this kit to transcend its status as just a toy. Using this kit to trigger real, pristinely recorded drum samples is pretty much the only way I can imagine this kit being worth it. And when you do that for either recording or just jamming, it is worth it. It's very satisfying to have a basically unlimited amount of sounds at my fingertips, depending on how much I'm willing to spend on software, to be able to play with this thing. It feels good enough to make that work. So if you are on a very limited budget and you're just looking for a kit to either practice on or record on, this will serve you pretty well. So far, it's served me pretty well, and I used to have a Roland kit before I sold it, and I've been playing drums for well over a decade, and I can say I've made this work. It's not amazing, it's not mind-blowing, but it'll get the job done if you're triggering software. So, all that being said, here are a couple of demos of the module sounds, and then a couple of demos of me playing in the context of a mix, triggering Druminator. Alright, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still shopping for an electronic kit and thinking of getting something a little more expensive, you can watch my review of the Roland kit that I used to have way back when I first got started here on YouTube. Or if you would like to hear the full versions of songs played in this video, you can click tap over here somewhere. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back with a new video next week. Peace!